Attention, the product in this video contains nicotine. Nicotine is dangerous to your health and can be addictive. Well, I also do not sell nicotine-containing products. My videos are introductory and educational in nature. The product in this video is intended for persons who have reached the age of majority. Enjoy your viewing. Apachki. Hello everyone. Alex Vipers is with you. I am glad to welcome you all to my channel. We have another Friday review today. So, while you are resting there, you have weekends, vacations, everything is going on. We continue to work. So let's go. Meet our guest hookah from FumyTech company. This is a parody of a hookah. It is an electronic hookah, in fact, reusable, so I would say, with the possibility of refueling. But in any case, now we will definitely discuss all its technical characteristics. But, first of all, what I want to say, such devices are not new on the market. Electronic hookahs have already been released before, and in different guises. There were just big, small ones of this kind. And I don't know why FumyTech decided to climb back in this direction. Apparently, because now the vaping market is very noisy, and it is unclear what to do next. Yes, we have already discussed this situation with you more than once, the fact that a huge number of parts, one-size-fits-all, have entered the market, and they are all essentially the same type and repeat each other. And it is in this situation that the Chinese begin to improvise and take old ideas. Someone comes up with something new. Someone makes a huge number of screens there, backlights and all that. But the FumyTech company decided to make an electronic hookah. In short, let's go through its technical characteristics and start with the dimensions. The height together with the drip tip. Yes, by the way, 550 drip type is used here. 169 millimeters, and the diameter of 33 millimeters is in the widest part. The weight of this device is 137 grams, and the device itself is made of aluminum, zinc alloy, and plastic. The color of this device will always be black. That is, these metal parts at the top and bottom will be black. But inside the sticker can change, and the guys there have about 5 or 6 types of these internal inserts. The battery pack of this device is equipped with a built-in battery for 3200 max, with the possibility of recharging using a Type-C connector. The device also works with cartridges that are not serviced, of course, without the possibility of changing the evaporator. The volume of the cartridge is 6 milliliters, and this is not small. But there are also different options for resistance 0.3, 0.4, and 0.6 ohms. But also, the device itself is equipped with all possible necessary options for protection against short circuit, overheating, and other options. That is, the classics of the genre of protection, something that should be absolutely in all devices. Well, I think it's safe to move to the close-up in order to get to know this device better, and after the close-up we'll try. And I'll express my opinion, so they drove down to my table. Well, let's start with unpacking. It is in such a black box that the device itself arrives. In front, we have a window through which the device itself is visible, the name of the hookah, as well as specifications and chips here. The device itself is located inside the foam rubber, and under it there is an envelope, quite large and weighty. And already inside this envelope, we will find instructions for use. US Type-C cables are quite long, as well as an additional locking ring. Well, let's move on to the device itself, and let's start in order. At the top, we have located the 510th strip. Yes, this is exactly the 510th strip, made in the form of a mouthpiece for a hookah. So, and it is naturally extracted, but very, very tight. It is held with the help of 2 rings. This is the standard 510th landing. Yes, that is, you can use your 500th drip types here. It looks, of course, very funny. The next part of the device is the cover. The lid is fixed. In this case, it uses a binet system, but very weak. In other words, there is generally some part of the turnover very small, and after you have turned it, you can lift it up like this. It doesn't always happen the first time, so I closed it, turned it, up, somehow it clings. That is, here there are small ears that call in special poses here inside. But there is also another ring included. It's just a magnetic ring, a very strong magnet. Here, if you don't want to use it, there is also a magnetic part here, but not so dense, not so strong. Right here is a ring with a hard magnet. Well, after we got rid of the ring, we get access to the capsule, which, by the way, is not fixed inside in any way. The cartridge itself is made of transparent plastic. You will be able to observe the amount of liquid remaining. Also on the side, we have a rubber plug with the inscription open. Here on this side, we have an arrow. Open here and get access to the hole. The hole is quite large. It is suitable for absolutely any bottle. The evaporator in this cartridge is not removable and non-replaceable. That is, this whole cartridge, it's just assembled with a rivet. There is also an inscription here that says about the resistance of our evaporator. If we look closely, we will see cotton wool. That's how it looks inside. And actually, if we look inside here, we will see that the evaporator works with a grid. At the bottom, we have a protective sticker that says you need to take it off before using it. And after that, we get access, first of all, to the contact group, and secondly, to the air supply holes. The contact group itself looks classic inside. These are spring-loaded contacts, but both plus and minus. Let's go down a little lower, and here we will find a curled ring, which is responsible for adjusting the tightening. That is, by scrolling to the right or to the left, you open air access. I'll say this, the ring turns very tight and will definitely not go astray. This essentially ends the technical part of the device. Then, we have the design chips of this device. Well, first of all, here we have a hole. Here is a window, through which we will observe the remaining amount of liquid. That's when the cartridge is inside. You will also be able to see the resistance of your cartridge. Here, we have a part made of plastic, and inside a special sticker, a piece of paper visual. Here, in addition, there is also a LED backlight inside. I'll show you how it works later. Already a little lower, under the plastic, there is another metal part. Here we have the FumyTech logo. If you scroll around in a circle, there are no more labels. There is also a knurling, but it's just like a designer. It's not responsible for anything. The visual is strictly observed. But if you already look at the butt of the device, then here we will find with you, first of all, a Type-C connector for recharging, as well as a switch that turns on, turns off, or turns on the backlight of this device. That is, the device is switched off in the central position. If you move the slider to the left, then this device is simply in working condition. But if you move it to the right, then the device is now in working condition and still uses LED backlight. Well, I think it's time to refill the cartridge, let the vaporizer soak, and try at the top how this device will work. Unfortunately, only one sample came to me, and, unfortunately, we don't have an additional cartridge in the kit to test the whole thing in advance. Therefore, you have to show the whole thing directly in the review itself, without tests. Here are my first impressions, so to speak. I will get directly with you today. Let's use this stub ring here. It seems to fit better visually. And we will use, of course, the classic complete drip tight. In general, here it is a hook air from the FumyTech company in the close. That's basically it. Let's open the air intake hole to the maximum. Now let's go upstairs, try and talk a little more about this device. Okay, let's get started. Let me remind you that here we have a cartridge installed, inside of which there is a 0.4 ohm evaporator. This is a grid vaporizer, and regarding the taste, I already assume that everything will be normal here in principle. But the most important thing is that we need to determine whether these vaporizers spit. That's how correctly the company laid the cotton wool there, how dense it is, and how well the liquid is supplied. That is, it is very important for me that there is no garrick with several puffs, and it is very important that there is no overflow with the same number of puffs. In general, let's try. Oh, and of course, I have a completely open airflow here. Let's see what we have here in bulk. Let's go. Well, as you can see, there are plenty of pairs here. But, one way or another, there is a nuance, in the form of the fact that the liquid flies into the mouth, unfortunately. The battery pack itself is fully charged, and this device works in fact in the mode of for fashion. There is no possibility to adjust the power, that is, the battery gives the power, for which the resistance of this evaporator is calculated. It seems that he expressed his thought correctly, and it seems to me that the power is not enough. For this vaporizer 0.4 ohms, I would like more, just a little bit. If there was a possibility of adjusting the power here, it would be cool to add a little bit here, just a little bit to wind up. That is why when I puff, I create a certain pressure that pumps the liquid, and this liquid does not have time to evaporate. So, as a result, the liquid flies into my mouth. If there had been more power, this would not have happened. Regarding the taste, what I want to say, I am completely satisfied with everything here. This is a mesh evaporator that gives a distinct and understandable taste of the liquid. I don't have any questions. I haven't had any, and probably never will. Finally, well, more precisely, once. Who invented the grid in the vaporizers? Generally handsome, well done. It is used almost everywhere, it perfectly conveys the taste. And for the fact that it also exists here, I like it. I also want to test something. I'll cut the blowout by half. Here, and let's try it. Due to the restriction on the puff, I don't inhale so much and not so sharply. And as a result, I don't feel the liquid flying into my mouth, and that's good. That is my choice, it seems to me. Here now it is a half-blocked blowout. Here, and in this case, I absolutely like everything, both in taste and in the number of pairs. So half of the blowout and norms. I decided to make fun of it, put the Dreptivshik 510th. Let's try it. That's pretty good too. But this feeling of holding a hookah in your hands disappears, yes. That is, this big long strip, mouthpiece, all business. And yet, it will be better, of course, with a complete strip. Here, according to the feelings and according to the vibe, certain. So well, you can finish the tests and move on to discussing the negative and positive aspects. Let's start in order. Here, I'll start with the fact that I am not very satisfied with one point here. The fact that the company did not put an additional cartridge in such a large box for such a device. Here, with a different resistance, so that a person can try different resistances and decide which resistance suits him best, as he likes, according to the consistency of steam, according to the heat of steam. Here, and such things should be included in the kit, so that a person tries and buys what he needs in the future. And for the fact that there are no additional cartridges with different resistance included, I will naturally put a minus. I would also like, and I think the company could do this, the implementation of a replaceable evaporator. So it would be much more convenient for the user, so it would be much cheaper to buy, as it seems to me. There is no such possibility here. I will also put a minus for this. Otherwise, I have no more complaints about this device. It's basically a subsystem, right here, which disguises itself as a hookah, in a good way, but it gives a certain feeling, and it's fun. For this, you can immediately put a certain small plus sign, a complete strip. Strangely enough, I have no complaints about him either, although I don't like such long tonsils, but this strip is more suitable here than ever. He should be right here. It's right for this device. So what a stripper Lycosic. Grid evaporator. It's good, it's delicious, and besides, there is a large amount of steam that spews out this device, similar to the amount when using a hookah, so there are no complaints about vaporizers either. The volume is 6 milliliters, that's quite a lot. For a free puff, this is good. The possibility of adjusting the tightening, it's a pretty tight ring. That's cool too. That is, here you can adjust. As you have seen, I found my puff essentially on a half-blocked blowout or a half-open blowout. The convenience of changing the cartridge is also present here. Then, there is a magnetic ring that is fixed, and then you just take out this cartridge. By itself, this will not fall out in any way, because there is a locking ring. So fixing the cartridge is also great. The device itself has windows with which you can monitor the amount of remaining liquid. It's convenient, that is, because your capsule is right inside, closed, and thanks to these windows, you will be able to observe the amount of remaining liquid. The battery is 3200 mAh. This is quite enough, I think, in order to drain the entire cartridge completely, and maybe even additionally. So, 3002 max will be enough for almost the whole day. The possibility of mechanical switching on and off of the device. It's convenient. Here, your device can be turned off, right? That is not to be spent there. Because if you knock here, you see, it also starts flashing. Here, the ice light works, but it can all be turned off, of course. So even when this thing is standing on your table like this, it absolutely won't turn on. It won't turn off itself. So I like the on-off implementation too. Charging by Tipsy. Quite a long cable. That's straight respect and respect. A very cool long cable. You can connect wherever you want and use it in the online mode. For those who don't know, the default mode is when you can charge and use the device at the same time. Inline illumination. Well, where without it, in these funny Chinese devices. Here, well, it's here. This is such a thing that you can use, or you cannot use it, by turning it on and off. That is, you can naturally save, turn it off, and that's it. You don't have anything glowing anywhere, and it's like a standard device like this. But the fact that the ice illumination is present is cool. And the last thing, probably, for which I will praise this device, is that it transmits a certain, as I have already said, vape. Hookahs, you are such a vape. That is, you hold a non-standard device in your hands, and it also gives you steam, taste, and that's it. There are certain sensations. Those people who are up. Let's do this. Let's sum up a little. I want to say who this device is suitable for. Most likely for those people who used hookahs before, right? That is, these bulky devices that you can conveniently carry around with you. Although at the exhibition, I saw people who have some special portable bags there, where a track is inserted, and he walks with this tube. It looks a little strange to me. As for me, this is more compact and more comfortable. Here they use it. So people who have previously used a hookah for a very long time and want to switch to electronic steam, so to speak. That's the kind of thing that's going to be, so to speak, a step between, right? That is, it will be possible to safely move with the help of such a thing. I think it will be much more comfortable for a person to transition than to take some small podic. It's just strange for a person to use something small if he used something big before. In general, the guys from FumyTech, of course, are not innovators in this regard. Such devices have already entered the market. But, at the moment, there are essentially no such devices on the market. There are one-size-fits-all laws for such hookah cases, but the service devices, yes, you can already call it, so to speak, we serve. You can refuel somewhere, change something. Here, there are no such devices on the market. So, the FumyTech company has done well in this regard. The fact that they have now given the market something that has not been there for a long time. Respect to them for this. That's it, friends. This is where I will end my review today. I want to say a huge thank you to FumyTech for providing this device to me for a test. Thank you guys so much for your attention. Do not forget about the links in the description. My Telegram channel, Telegram chat, Telegram blog. Subscribe everywhere in order to stay up to date with all the latest developments. Well, I also remind you that on Sunday, there will be our standard Sunday stream. Don't miss it, at 6 o'clock in the evening in Moscow. I'm waiting for everyone. Come on in. Well, according to tradition, Alex vapersmd was with you on this channel, standing today, so let's stand a little. As they say, see you all again, all delicious and thick.